All right. Hey, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a good holiday weekend. We are here with the lovely and wonderful James Cogswell, who is in our upcoming production of She Kills Monsters. So, hey, James, welcome.
Hello, Justin. Hello, people.
Awesome. So let's just kind of dive right into this. I'm going to ask you the question that I ask everyone, which is very standard interview questions. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Uh, I'm James. I do the art stuff. I cook. I don't like long walks on the beach. And so I love video games. And that's me.
Very nice. I love it. So yeah, you're doing the arts thing. You do not like long walks on the beach. Video games. You like to cook. I'm about it.
All right.
And James, we have seen you a few times now in some productions. Where have people seen you?
At Elm Street?
Yeah, since you're a familiar face to us.
You might have seen me as the husband and agent in Helvetica, as well as Jay Finch and an assortment of characters in Puffs. Other places, maybe Pinch and Ouch. I was Brian in Antipodes, Annie Baker's newest work, or one of her newest ones. And my love to New Dawn Theater that had to close down. I was Victor Frankenstein in Frankenstein 1930. And I think that's it. I might be forgetting something.
It will randomly just pop back into your head eventually.
Yeah, I gotta think of some.
You'll just shout out a title randomly in the middle of the interview, and I'll be about it. I think that's on brand.
That's probably me, to be honest. I'll remember it an hour later, and I'll be like, "Oh."
Yes. All right. So I'm ready for that title to be shouted eventually at some point. So what got you into theater? Have you done theater pretty much all your life, or where's your journey as a theater artist?
I'm pretty new to the scene, I would say. I've been in it for a little while, but I didn't do any theater. Well, I did a theater class in high school for a little bit, but outside of that, I didn't really do theater till 3 years ago. And I kind of just did a jump switch from I was a secondary education history teacher major to theater. I just wasn't quite happy where I was with it. I really liked teaching. I really did. I think it just wasn't how it's set up, wasn't the way I wanted to run a classroom. So I ended up making a switch halfway through college, and I ended up I switched schools, and they had to make me reapply to a program, which pushed me back another year. And so pick up a minor. I did that, and I was like, you know what, I'll pick up theater. That'd be great, because I wanted to bring actually historical reenactments to the classroom, and maybe use some of theater's concepts for teaching history, which will make it more interesting than just here's A, B, C, D, find the answer. Or memorize this textbook, which I didn't like about the teaching structure that I was supposed to do. But that's I kind of jumped into it. I fell in love with it, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna switch, and hopefully I make the right decision. Worst comes to worst, I'm just 2 more years in debt. What's the worst that could happen?
No, I'm sure you definitely made the right decision with that from from switching, from a history major then to doing something, very, very different. Although, teaching is a little similar to acting. It's some form of theater in the real world. This is all like my performance analysis classes, just like shouting at me like everything is performative. You are performative all the time.
Yeah, it's really interesting what transfers over, because with history, it made when I switched over so interesting was like I had a lot of resources to do a lot of dramaturgy right off the bat for like a lot of my characters. So I would have like a long research list of all these educational academic links that are not Wikipedia, where I could like have like lists of research, and I could like find out like all these random facts. And it's so interesting like what you can find. Like I went really into the deep dark depths of some of these plays where I even found out the inspiration that's not even posted or mentioned anywhere by the playwright, but I found like different stuff. That's really fun. Not specifically this one yet. I'm not there yet. I will soon.
Working on it, but
yeah. But it's really fun what actually carries over.
Yeah, well, and I think the one of the cool things about theater in particular is a lot of works are based on, some sort of historical event, or set in some, historical world. Like we have Hamilton right now, which is like the big thing on Disney Plus, and giving us that historical context in a different way, and teaching us some different things about Alexander Hamilton, and just the people that are all, those historical figures in there is super interesting. And like you said, it's a great way to connect to the younger generation, to be able to not only entertain them, but also to educate them, and give them something that like they can actually take away, something away from, which is very cool. So let's shift gears a little bit to She Kills Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell me a little bit about the character that you play, and how they function in the world of the story?
I am Orcus, the demon king or overlord, a demon overlord, that exists in the world of the D&D world. And I'm Ronnie in the real world. Good old Ronnie. And they're, I would describe them as a person that's there. They're just there. is what I would say. They're really just there, kind of dragged along and forced along for the ride. It's like that friend that never wants to go out to party, and you're like, no, today's your birthday. We're going to go party. I don't relate with that, but I relate more with Orcus, but it's just going to be like that thing. So he's always just kind of along for the ride, whether he wants to or not. But deep down, even though it's not on the surface quite a way, he cares about the people that's around him, and wants the very best for him and for himself.
Nice. Are there any parallels between the two characters? Because I know with this script in particular, a good chunk of the characters do some doubling between the real world and then also this fantasy world. So are there any similarities between Ronnie and Orcus?
I think pretty much his entire personality is the same. Ideally, I would think his appearance is much different because it's a demon overlord compared to a teenager boy in high school. But you never know. And outside of that, he's pretty much the same person except for one unique detail that I'm not going to say.
Right. But, I mean, yeah, we can't give away those spoilers. We want people to come and get tickets and check out and see what that what that big surprise is. And there are several surprises and twists and turns in the show that we are not going to share with you right now, because that would be cruel to give all that away. Oh my gosh, I had something and then it left my mind, and yeah, maybe I will find it. I got it. Here we go. That did not take it like an hour for it to come back to me. So obviously this show is very much in the world and in the culture of Dungeons and Dragons. Do you have a lot of experience with the game and with that culture at all?
With the culture, I would say yes. With the game, none entirely. I've never played the game before in my life. But I think the D&D has influenced so many things now, not just like the game or board games, but even video games, which a lot of D&D and video games really almost the same. If you play for certain video games, I played a lot growing up where role-playing games are basically a D&D adventure in its own. That might be more of a set story where you might even have a little bit of different stuff. But even in like theater, now it has more and more addition of like improvical elements, different story paths. I know I assistant directed a show called The Tall Girls, and it's all about basketball. And while that's not like the fantastical kind of adventure, there is there's a basketball and they're playing basketball for real. And so things can happen, like where it says, does she make the shot? This leads to a different path. Does she miss the shot? It goes to a different path. So it's kind of like this interesting element of, because I know D&D is a lot of improv based and just kind of character creation and role playing. So I'm very familiar with a lot of its elements, but I've never actually played it before in my life.
Yeah.
Regretfully.
That brings up a good question that I had not thought of. So, within the game itself, like you said, it lends itself to a lot of improvisation, and kind of being able to, if you choose X, then, you go to Y or what have you. And I know in Puffs, the script itself gave like different improv moments that you could have. Does this script give you some similar stuff at all that's in line with the improvisational nature of the game, or is it pretty set in stone?
I think most of it's pretty set in stone. There's nothing that I recall that's like straight up improv. There's some ad libs where you can choose between some ad libs. But I wouldn't say anything's like straight up improv. But the one thing that makes it special, because like not everything is set in stone, is how you direct it. Especially the fighting will be always different among different shows, and presentation, lighting, and all those factors can make it like so much. It's a completely different story. But yeah, I don't. At least I know that I don't, but I don't think there's much improvical elements in this one, but it's very inspired by the idea of it in the dialogue, especially where you see like a lot of natural exchange of surprise and discovery.
Very cool. Well, I know we're super excited to get to experience that, from just everything that the cast gets to bring to the show, as well as like some really pun semi-intended killer fight sequences. Do you have a lot of experience with fight choreography and combat training in terms of theater?
I wouldn't say I'm like trained. I have some experience with it. I've been in a good couple of workshops, and I've played a lot of video games that had a lot of realistic fighting styles. So I kind of like watch that. I used to watch a lot of fighting stuff growing up because I was actually a huge nerd of WWE. I wanted to be a WWE wrestler for a long time. And so actually that's where kind of like a little bit of that theater always was there, but never accumulated to anything or grew anything, because that's all stage combat. All WWE is all stage combat. It's just unarmed and some weapons. Yeah. And I think like there was you learn a lot like once you actually learn more of the in and outs, and if you were actually like going to train to become it, you kind of learn some things from it. So I have some of that under my belt where I've just seen a lot of different forms of fighting and know how it's like run, and then I just know the basics of keeping it safe but enjoyable to watch.
That safety is very, very important. Random question because it popped into my head based on what you were talking about. So we're gonna shift to a couple like random facts and like random question kind of things. So you spoke about, when you were younger wanting to be a WWE wrestler. Did you come up with a name for yourself?
No, I don't think so. I'm very like I don't know. I don't think I did. I'm very just keen on just using my name. I would probably just prefer to be just James. But as a kid, when I played the video games, I always went by Dynamite. With my explosive speed and power or something. I don't know exactly. But because like you're allowed to like pick a thing with that like all the voices could say among the like different voice lines, and Dynamite was one of them. I was like, that's the coolest one. So everybody would always call me Dynamite, I guess. So maybe I would have been like the Dynamite Kid or something.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. Dynamite Kid. I can see it on like a t-shirt. And then the other random fun fact question that I had was, and again, this is like super duper random, has nothing to do with the show at all, but if you were an insect, what insect would you be and why?
I would be a cockroach, simply for the fact that the cockroach is a symbolic insect that really represents the idea of no matter how many times you get knocked down, no matter how many times you get attacked, or people think that you're disgusting on the outside, you will always get up, you will always persevere, and you'll always survive if you just make it through it.
I learned something new about the cockroach and its symbolic intent. So
I don't know if that is, but it's symbolic to me in that.
And you know what? For me, whenever I see or think about a cockroach, I'll be like, "Wow!" Like I'll be inspired because of you now.
It's commonly misunderstood. I feel like people scream at a cockroach when they see the cockroach, but the cockroach never really does anything to you. It's just there.
Yeah, just kind of hanging out, like, "Hey, I'm here."
And it's really fast. It's really fast when it's faster than we could ever keep up with if it actually went full speed all the time, which is really cool. So, I knew a cockroach once.
So I'm thinking then, wrestling name, Dynamite the Cockroach, or Cockroach Dynamite, or something like
that. Cockroach the Dynamite, and I just wear a cockroach jumpsuit.
I mean, you need the ears, like the antennas with it, of course.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it was.
Well, James, before we head off, I'm just going to double check and see if we have any. Ooh! Mitchell just sent us a question, so thank you for doing that, Mitchell. Mitchell asks, if you had to pick one shirt and pants to wear for the rest of your life, what would you choose? Also, what colors would they be?
Shirt and pants.
Yep, you have to wear them for the rest of your life. That is your only option now. So it's got to be versatile.
For the rest of my life, I could wear just a plain t-shirt and sweatpants, both black. Easy, nice and neutral. Nothing on it. I don't like logos, so it's
keeping it very plain Jane.
I am very plain Jane.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Mitchell, for that great question. See, and now I have another like random question for like other people that I interview, with Mitchell's permission, of course. I can be able to ask them that. I'll put that in my arsenal of questions to ask. But before we hop off, is there anything that you want to say regarding the show, and maybe something personal to you about it that you would want to share with people to let them know to come check it out and why they should see it?
I would say just overall, like the themes of this show is like really relatable, and I feel like really relatable to a lot of people, not only that love theater, but that have experienced any form of life. Uh, but that's a weird way to say it. But yeah, like that have lived at all, you'll relate to this. No, but it has a lot of things that are really relatable in terms of relationships. And I feel like uh, for a lot of people, they will be able to connect to the story, whether or not they like. For me, I didn't know anything about D&D, and I still really loved it. It really brings up things that are important and something to look at, because sometimes there's something that's always there and you don't realize it's there till it's gone. And so I think that's one of the biggest things about not only this play, but something to always consider, because I feel like we often forget those things that are there until we don't have them anymore. And then it's always kind of a yucky pile of regret. So I would say that it's an
I like
important show to watch.
Yeah, no. So if you do not want to be a yucky pile of regret,
Mhm.
you've got to see She Kills Monsters, which opens in a month from tomorrow, August 7th, which is very, very exciting and runs for 3 weekends. We'll have some more details your way on some other ways that you're able to experience the show. If in person is maybe something that you're not super duper comfortable with right now, we'll be putting more information on our website as well as social media with kind of what that looks like. But I want to thank again James for taking the time to be involved not only in this show, also the various other productions that he's done at Elm Street, and also being a part of this interview today. So, James, thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
All right, everyone. That is all that we wrote for today. We'll have more interviews coming out later this week and more fun stuff for you to engage with and get excited for in anticipation of She Kills Monsters. So, until then, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and we'll see you when we see you. All right. Bye.